If you're looking for a secure haven within the literary world, you found the perfect organization. Let's make magic together. Our space is specifically designed for African American authors who are passionate about their writings of films and books. It's a platform to stay informed about industry developments. And on Patreon, we'll share exclusive content, valuable resources, and engaging discussions and masterclasses on various subjects, ranging from film and publishing industry trends to wellness and business tips. So if you're ready to dive into this exciting community, become a member now. Welcome to our literary haven where creativity knows no bounds. Let's make magic together.
Hi guys, my name is Tamika Jameson, formerly Newhouse, and I'm the founder of AAMBC. The acronym stands for African Americans on the Move Book Club. Established in 2008 for the sole purpose of amplifying Black stories and those that tell those stories. In 2025, we are prepared to even amplify our events. We also want to host more events year-round, and so we need your help. From book signings to a literary freedom walk, to festivals, to curating book drives. We are wanting to do it all, so please visit the website aambc.org and learn all about us and donate to us today. Thanks.
Fortunately blessed to sometimes they will hire you and you can flesh those words out as well. But ultimately, I believe that it's a blessing to be able to have the words in your head and in your heart and be able to put them down on paper. So today, I just want to share with you the process of how writing has always been a tool of self-care in my life. And hopefully it can help you achieve some goals, maybe get through some things you're going through, or just basically make you better at expressing yourself. So that is the journey we're going to take today. And we're going to start with the first slide. This is Introduction to Writing and Self-Care. Writing is a powerful tool used to express one's thoughts and emotions. When we're in school, we're told to write these essays about things that have happened in the past. You have to maybe write about the Civil War or the Civil Rights Movement or something that took place that has an impact on history and the way that we live. When I was 16 years old, I was in high school. Clearly, hopefully I was, but I was. And the one thing that I really didn't like about that time is when they gave you those summer reading lists and they made you read these books that weren't always the best that could like really help you facilitate your creativity. There were certain books that I read. I was introduced to Toni Morrison. I read The Bluest Eye. At 14, that book really messed me up because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't realize the symbolism. I didn't realize all the things that were taking place and what she was saying. But I could appreciate it because it was a different kind of story and I knew that it was directed towards me as a young Black man. Then I read this other book called The Pig Man, which was about these kids and this old man, and it didn't make no sense to me. So I never really like got into the school reading unless it was something that pertained to me. Then I was introduced to an author named Omar Tyree, fellow brother from Philly. He wrote a book called Capital City. And that is when I fell in love with the process of writing and writing characters that made sense to who I am and the people that I've seen in my life. That's where it started. But then I realized there are so many different ways that you can express yourself through writing. 3 of the ways that we're going to talk about today are through the art of journaling. If you've ever journaled before, it's basically keeping a diary. And I know a lot of people, they think, oh, wow, why would I want to keep a diary? We have a lot of thoughts that go through our heads during certain times in our lives. And we go through many things as people. We're not the same person at 25 that we were at 15. And then conversely, we're not the same person at 40 that we were at 25. we go through certain things in our lives, and these things are sometimes very challenging. Sometimes it requires a lot of thought and care for ourselves to give ourselves grace. That's where journaling comes in, because you have an opportunity to sit down with yourself and say, okay, this is what I'm going through. How am I going to get through this? Sometimes you can't just go to your friends and tell them what you're going through. You can't go to your family. Sometimes you got to talk it out with yourself. And I know that there's a big boom with everybody doing therapy. Therapy is a wonderful thing. If you're seeing a therapist, if you're getting those emotions out, that is a beautiful experience. But sometimes you just have to sit down with yourself, get yourself together, and the best way to do that is through journaling. The next iteration that we'll talk about is poetry. I have been writing poetry probably since I was around the same time when I discovered Capital City, maybe even before that. There's just something about being able to put your words into just like a cadence, or I don't know, there's just something that I absolutely love about taking a topic and just enveloping myself in that topic and letting my soul speak. And I've been a spoken word artist pretty much my entire adult life. I haven't really done it as much down here in Atlanta for a multitude of reasons. We can get into that at another time. But I do love being in a room full of people who want to listen to you. They want to hear what your experience is. They want to hear your story. I can do that kind of poetry as opposed to people going up there and not bearing their soul. Poetry is all about bearing your soul. Anytime you do something with the written word, you must be transparent. There's no substitute for it, because if not, why are you on the stage? Why are you sharing it? It requires a level of vulnerability that a lot of people don't get in touch with. It starts with journaling. You can't just hit the stage and tell them about how bad a day you're having or the things you're going through unless you're all right enough with yourself to do these things in front of a bunch of people. Poetry is the second iteration we'll talk about. Lastly, we'll talk about songwriting. I'm not sure how many of you love songs or music. I'm a huge music head. I love all kinds of music. There really is no particular genre that I gravitate towards more than the other one, because it all comes down to the words. And a beautiful song or a powerful, impactful song will always resonate with me more so than anything else. The last piece we'll talk about is songwriting. Talk about a couple of some good songwriters, people that I enjoy. I'm sure everybody knows somebody that when they have their songs, it really speaks to you. And these are the three things that we'll talk about today. So we can go to the next slide. Some of the world's most influential writers. We have Maya Angelou, the great poet, great wordsmith. She is iconic. James Baldwin, another icon within the Black and the gay community. We also have Langston Hughes, a prolific wordsman. He had poems that were taught to us because of just how brilliant they were and how they conveyed the message of his experience in America. And then, like I said before, Toni Morrison. Toni Morrison, she was a beast, man. And even to this day, her work still resonates with people. And I'll say this. I read The Bluest Eye when I was 14 and didn't really understand it. Then when I was in college, I read Sula, and that book just blew my mind. Toni Morrison, and I didn't read Beloved, but I did see it in the theater. And she just wrote in a way that was just hauntingly beautiful and so reflective of the human experience. We also have some other people. So we'll go to the next slide. One of my favorite content creators is Issa Rae. She brings me so much inspiration because of where she started on YouTube and how she ended up this very iconic Black woman. We need more people to understand how you can start one place and make your way all the way to another place and do it on your terms and tell the stories that you want to tell. That's the kind of story writer that I want to be. That's the kind of screenwriter I want to be. And she is definitely my inspiration. Kendrick Lamar. My man won a Nobel Peace Prize for his words. Like, I mean, come on now. And if you know what's going on between him and Drake, Kendrick won. I'm just saying, Kendrick won. Pac. I mean, Pac, come on now. And then Alicia Keys. Now, you can say whatever you want to about the things with Alicia Keys, but the one thing you can't say is that lady don't know how to write. She can write a song, make you feel some emotions. I remember I was going through a breakup, and there was this one song that I'd heard pre and post breakup. It's the song Try Sleeping with a Broken Heart. First time I heard it, I was like, yeah, that's a nice melody. That's nice. It's cool. Then when I heard after I went through some stuff, I was like, oh my God, like that's the power of words in music. It's just, I love words. I am definitely a word nerd, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to get into it. So next slide. First, we're going to start with journal writing. A quote from Langston Hughes: "Go home and write a page tonight and let that page come out of you. Then it will be true." I can't tell you how many times there have been words that have just like entered my mind, and it'll probably have to do with like a situation I'm going through, and the words just won't leave me alone. So I know I have to write them down. You don't necessarily have to run and get a piece of paper and a pen. We all got phones. You can just put it in your phone real fast. Write your thoughts down. Put them down. These are good ways to start the process of journaling. So the next slide, we're going to discuss 4 types of journaling today. Daily journaling. As the name suggests, this is the practice of writing a journal every day. Daily journaling focuses on sharing daily events and how you feel about them each day. In the spirit of transparency, as I have spoken of, I'm going to share with you a journal entry that I wrote. And I believe I was at an AAMBC event. I think I was at Lit Diaries. I may have been. I know it was last year. Last year was rough. So I was trying to find ways to kind of like get myself out there and remind myself who I am. Because sometimes you got to remind yourself who you are. Sometimes you go through some stuff and you forget who you are. You got to remind yourself that you are the complete badass that you know you are. And I went to this workshop, and this is what I wrote after being kind of like in isolation, because, we went through everything. I'm not going to say the word. You were there. You know what happened. It was a worldwide event. It was a worldwide festival of BS that we all experienced together. And this was like one of my first times coming out and doing something. So this is from August 17th of 2023. Today was relatively uneventful. It's Thursday, right? Pay me no mind. I still have COVID brain. Oop, I said the word, sorry. Every day is the same. I vacillated on whether or not I would come today because I'm lazy and gas is high. But this spot is only 20 minutes from the house, so there's no excuse not to be here. And I need to read more. I promised myself I would read more. So here I am. I love words. I enjoy the poetry of syllables. I am a true word nerd, a whole ass word nerd. Is there a t-shirt that says word nerd? If so, t-shirt me, please. This is the kind of stuff that you do just to kind of sit there, get your thoughts out. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be you on the page, getting out whatever it is you're feeling, because you'll feel so much better once you get those emotions out. So next slide. Stream of consciousness free writing journaling. With stream of consciousness journaling, you write down thoughts as they flow through your mind. It's quick pace. Now, it's similar to daily journaling, but it's more like if you're maybe, you say to yourself, I'm just going to sit down and I'm going to write. You just write it down. You just keep writing. Just keep writing it down and keep writing until whatever you need to get out of you is completely out of you, and you can move on to something else. Maybe that stream of conscious journaling will turn into a poem. Maybe it will turn into a short story idea. You never know until you sit down and actually take the time to just write. A lot of times we get in our own heads where we feel like there has to be perfect conditions. It got to be quiet. I got to have candles on. Got to have some Luther on in the background. No, just write. Just write. Whatever's in your head, just write. Put it in a book. Put it in a file on your phone. Keep it away from people that you don't want to see it. but just write. Never stop yourself from writing, because writing is the thing sometimes that will save your life. Next slide, please. Gratitude journaling is finding ways to write down thoughts about what you're grateful for, and it can improve your mood and your outlook on life. These are very important. We live in a society right now where there's just so much negativity, and there's so many reasons that we can look forward to being negative. Think about our current political environment. Think about the environment of inflation, everything that we go through. We'll take it to even like a more basic level. I think most people have been on social media. How many of you see something that may not necessarily be the most appealing thing and run to the comments to see just how mean people can be in their attempt to kind of make fun of somebody else's misfortune or make fun of something else that they may not understand? I've seen this increasingly in the past couple of years, where even if it's something positive, people will find something to be negative about. Gratitude journaling takes that idea of always living in the negative and focusing on the things that are positive. So next slide. One study from psychologists at the University of California, Davis and the University of Miami asked 3 groups of participants to write a few sentences each week on a certain topic. Some wrote about gratitude, some about annoyances, and some about life events. I do apologize that the slides are getting cut off. You know, technology, it ain't always our friend, but I do remember this particular slide because it basically said that the people that focused on gratitude, they ended up having happier lives. Imagine 10 weeks, that's 2.5 months. Imagine if today, after this talk, you decided, you know what, I'm gonna do some gratitude journaling. I'm just gonna find something to be happy about and write about that. And did that every day for 10 weeks. Say, personally, I'm the most grateful for my family. I live in Atlanta. My family lives in Philadelphia. I talk to them pretty much every day. I'm grateful for that. I can never forget how important that is in my life because of all the other things that I have going on. I'm grateful for not having a car note because I don't like car notes. They suck. My car is paid off. That's an extra bill I ain't got to worry about. That's more money in my pocket, and money makes me happy. So that's something else to be grateful for. There is something in your life that you can be grateful for, unless you just choose not to be grateful, which is probably something you need to journal about. I'm just saying. Next slide, please. And lastly, there is bullet journaling. Bullet journals are highly customizable. You can use them to track everything from your mood to your daily steps. You can also use one page as an agenda with bullets for reflections. So this type of journaling, they're all really not that different from each other. But if you break them down, they can be used for different aspects of your life. This kind of journaling is basically saying, hey, maybe like you have goals. I write my goals out for the day. Sometimes I write them out for the week. Sometimes I just write them out for that day. Because if your life is anything like mine, you probably got a whole lot of stuff going on. You probably got stuff with your family, just stuff with work, stuff with your own personal goals. I have a tendency to, especially on days when I'm feeling really overwhelmed, I will take a book, much like this one, because I love books like this. I love these kind of books. If you ever want to get me a gift, just give me a whole bunch of these and I can write all the time. I'll wake up. First thought is like, I gotta do this. My mind start racing. It's like, I gotta do this. Oh my God, it's too much. Life. So I'll be like, all right, Ben, calm down. Bring it down. You're doing too much. Grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, and just, what do you want to do today? What are the most important things that you need to accomplish today? And I guarantee you, every time I do that, Every time, even when it seems like something is insurmountable and it's just like so impossible, when I go down that list, and you ain't gotta do it in order, you do it the way that you gotta do it. If like the easiest thing is up top and the hardest thing is the bottom, or it's just a whole list of stuff, just do it. Write it down, get it done. It brings focus, because sometimes it's hard to focus when you have a lot of tasks to do. But when you see it in front of you, it's like, all right, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. And then before you know it, you've done everything. And it's like, oh wow, it's the end of the day. I got some time to myself. There is no substitute for having time to reflect on the things that you need to do for yourself and to always practice self-care. I believe that journaling can help with anybody that is struggling with time management or just trying to attack their goals, or even reminding themselves just how grateful they are to have little things. You might have a piece of cake in the refrigerator that you forgot about, and you'd be like, oh my God, I got some cake. You have to find ways to incorporate the good things into your life as we continuously face negative things every day. So next slide, please. Now we're going to get into one of my favorite topics. We're going to talk about the therapy of poetry. You can't use up creativity. The more you use it, the more you use, the more you have. And Maya Angelou said that. As you know, very, very, very talented. She has an amazing story of triumph, tragedy, and she's just one of the culture's most beloved icons. And I wanted to put that up there because I believe that creativity is something that we use as writers to express ourselves. And I wanted to put that up there just to remind you that you are a creative and you can do it. You just have to remember who you are and remember that your words matter. So next slide. The definition of poetry is writing that formulates a concentrated imaginative awareness of experience in language chosen and arranged. I want to give you an example of poetry from a book that I came across. It's called The Breakbeat Poets. Let me show it to you right here. It's a very, very good book. It's hip hop influenced. As you can see, it has like a bunch of like Black theme superheroes on here, which is what really attracted me to the book, because I believe that art and words, they go hand in hand. Like I said to you before, the fact that I used to draw, I still draw from time to time. Sometimes I forget I know how to draw, but once again, I got to remind myself who I am. But this just really spoke to me because it's like, I think one of these dudes is supposed to be like Lil Wayne as Thor, and somebody. It's just dope. It's just the cover is dope, and it caught my eye. So this is the Breakbeat Poets, New American Poetry in the Age of Hip Hop. It was edited by Kevin Cavall. I can't say that name. And Nate Marshall. I'm so sorry, but look, I ain't going to try to butcher nobody's names. So we're going to do this poem right here. This poem is titled Turning the Tables, and it's by Joel Diaz Porter, aka DJ Renegade. First, hold the needle like a lover's hand. Lower it slowly. Let it tongue the record's ear. Then cultivate the sweet beats blooming in the valley of the groove. Laugh with folks that make requests. What chef would let the diners determine which entrees make up the menu? Young boys think it's about flashy flicks of the wrist, but it's about filling the floor with the manic language of dance, about knowing the beat of every record like a mama knows her child's cries. Nobody cares how fast you scratch, because it ain't about soothing any itch. It's about how many hairstyles are still standing at the end of the night. Now, when I read that, the imagery automatically takes me to the dance floor. You may not know this to look at me, but there was a time when I was pretty wild and I was out. I was outside. Y'all think y'all be outside? Nah, I was outside. So when I think of this, I think of those parties. I think of those mixes. I think of the DJ just keeping the party going. These are the powerful messages that poetry can put into your mind. And it doesn't always have to be like sad poems. It could be happy poems, celebratory poems. Poetry is such a universal and beautiful bridge between words and images that it just should be celebrated. And I'm not saying it's not celebrated, but I really do believe that it's a lost art that a lot of people don't really go to anymore, which is sad. So next slide. There are different kinds of poetry. There are tons of different kinds of poetry, but we're going to focus on just these three right here. One of my favorite forms of poetry is the haiku. I have spent an inordinate amount of time perfecting the art of the haiku. And the haiku basically is, the structure is 5-7-5. 5 words, 7 words, 5 words. And they all turn into sometimes a thought. Sometimes they turn into a beautiful statement. I should have brought one of my haikus with me. I have one on my phone. Just give me 1 second. Actually, I know I have one on my phone. Here we go. All right. I wrote this about somebody that I absolutely love, but the timing was bad. We couldn't make it work. And I know that our time together has come to an end, but it still sucks. So I wrote a haiku about it to express exactly how it makes me feel. And it sounds like a statement, but it's a poem. I want to come back, but never want to disrupt the life you have now. That's a haiku. Short, simple, sweet, kind of hard to write sometimes because the way my mind flows, I'll start writing a whole nother line. And it's like, that's not what it asks for. You have free verse. It doesn't have to rhyme. There are a lot of poems out there that don't rhyme. Everybody believes that a poem has to be like roses are red, blah, 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 and that's not the case. It doesn't have to be like that. There's so many different kinds of ways that you can express yourself through poetry, and free verse is one of those where you basically just sit down and write and it comes out and that's your poem. And if that's what you want the poem to be, then that's what it's going to be. I mean, you can always go back and tweak it. You can always go back and make it better because you can always make anything better. But sometimes I think it's better just to write what you have to write, get it out of you, and just leave it there. Because we can always self-edit. As people, that's all we do. We always think about, how can I make it better? You can't make anything perfect because you'll always be thinking about how you can make it better. It's better just to get the words out of you. That's my advice. Then there are limericks. Limericks have an AABBA scale. And I'm going to try to think of one. I'm going to try to do one off the dome right now. There was a lady named Sue who didn't know what to do. She went to the store to grab her some more, and then she made a beef stew. Was it good? No, but I did it, and you can do it too. So just think about that. Like, these are just 3 types of poems. Next slide, please. And as I've told you, spoken word. I've been doing spoken word since I was in college. I remember the first time I hit a stage. Once again, it was after I broke up with somebody. Oh my God, I suck at dating. Lord. But anyway, it was the first time that I had really got my heart broke. And I went to Temple University in Philly. Shout outs to Temple Owls. And me and my cousins, we went there and they was hyping me up. They was like, yeah, Ben, you should go to the open mic. You got this. I'm like, all right, cool. So we went to the open mic. And I got up on stage and I did the poem about my heartbreak, and they rose and they was clapping. I was like, wow, this is a great feeling. So just knowing that I can express myself and people feel it, that makes me really feel good. I'll give you another example. When I moved to Atlanta, I had just broke up with somebody. I just broke up with somebody when I moved to Atlanta. And I went to the world famous Apache, the original location, not the one that they got now. I still haven't been to that one, but I went to the first one. And I got up on stage and I did it again. And as soon as the crazy thing about that is that night the Eagles was playing. So after I did my poem, I like ran out the building and this girl ran up to me. She's like, oh my God, that was so good. I was like, thank you. And I just had to keep running because the Eagles was on and I wanted to see the game. But yeah, spoken word, you can really touch people's hearts and emotions with that. Another form of doing spoken word poetry is poetry slams. I enjoy going to the poetry slams because I think it takes a lot of artistry and vulnerability and commitment to the craft to get up on stage and be as deep as you are. And then you might win a prize. They might give you a title. They might give you some cash. It's almost like, Miss America for pain. So I think, get into some spoken word poetry. It's like, this is Atlanta. There's tons of places you can go to find a spoken word or a poetry slam. So don't ever forget that is also another option when it comes to poetry. So next slide, please. And now we're going to get to our final topic, which is songwriting. Music comes from many, many places. My emotions, my feelings, my thoughts, and conversations. And that's Alicia Keys. That's what she said. And basically, like I said earlier, the song that she had, Try Sleeping with a Broken Heart, that song touched me in many ways. And I believe that she has a talent for writing songs that people can relate to. I remember when she first came onto the scene, it was 2001. I was in college, wouldn't date nobody, so nobody could break my heart at that point. But she came out with Fallen. And I remember, like, first time I heard that song, I was like, wow, this girl, she's kind of dope. And I heard the commercial like on ABC for like All My Children. I was like, wow, she's rich now. So she's been around for a long time. She knows how to make music that transcends genres and color lines and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool. So next slide. Here's some popular songwriters. We have some classics. I said Alicia Keys. There's a sister named Esther Dean. She is a beast with a pen. She's an absolute beast. We have Missy. I realize that there are some young people out there that don't recognize exactly how dope Missy Elliott is, and the reach that she has with her pen is amazing. Then we have Prince. I don't know where you were when Prince passed away, but I was at work and I used to write this blog, and as soon as I found out, I just stopped what I was doing. I think I probably even left early because it was Prince. Prince, that was the soundtrack of my childhood. Not really, because, he wrote a lot of freaky stuff and I was like young, but he knew how to get into emotions as well. He knew how to talk about our society. He knew how to talk about love. He talked about, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but the song Let's Go Crazy, that's basically about the end of the world. But the way that he wrote it is kind of like, yeah, this is a bop. Woo, woo, woo. No, it ain't a bop. It's scary. He's scaring us, but we dance into it. Like, that's the power of good music, good writing, and good production. Prince was that guy. Jay-Z is about to call him Jigga. Jigga, I don't know how y'all feel about Jigga now, but there was a time that was my number one. Like, Jigga just paints a story with his words. And it's an art form that I don't think a lot of people really talk about because it's music and nobody really says much about how words and music are so important when it comes to songwriting. I will admit, I have not really gotten to a lot of the younger people now, because what I've been exposed to, and please correct me if there's anybody that I need to be listening to, but some of the songs, it's just, I can't get into them. They don't make me feel like they used to. And music should bring about feelings. It should bring about making you feel like something. It should be like a good emotion, or it should be therapeutic, or maybe it should be like a call to action, like A Change Is Gonna Come by Sam Cooke. There's so many ways that music can excel us as a race, as people, as just in general. But I think that today it's more so about the beat and not the lyrics. And I can't get with that. So if there's anything or anybody that I might be missing, please let me know, because I would love to give new music a chance. And as you can see, there's also Aretha Franklin, Bridge Over Troubled Water. That wasn't her song. Like, somebody else sang it before her. But the emotion she poured into it, it might as well have been her song. She put a lot of soul into it, like, because she felt the words, and the words are everything. You got Stevie. I ain't gonna talk about Stevie. Like, that's my man. And Marvin Gaye, like, chef's kiss to all of them. I forgot what's the next slide. What's that giving? All right. Words and music are a marriage that have been around for generations. Think about one of your favorite songs and how it makes you feel. I can tell you, just to give you two examples, personal examples for me. There's I didn't mention her, but Mary J. Blige. I think she's a great songwriter. I know a lot of y'all be like, she can't sing. It don't matter. She feel the music, she feel the words, and I feel it too. She has this one song called "The Love I Never Had," and she's singing about the pain she feels from not being able to have love with some dude who don't even want her. That's a story. That is a story in a song. Songs are stories. When done correctly, they're stories. And then there's another song, Because I Excel in Heartbreak, by Donny Hathaway. It's called "Giving Up Is Hard to Do." Have you ever heard that song? Donny was amazing. The power of songs and words and music is something that I believe speaks to us on a human level, because we want that connection. We want to be reminded that we're all in this together. We are all experiencing this together. If you walk outside, you feel the sun on your face, it's either going to make you feel hot or it's going to make you feel like you're at peace. But it's going to make you feel something. And I believe that is the power of words and the power of music. Next slide, please. Oh, it's me. Hi. Well, I hope you've enjoyed my TED Talk. My name is Ben Robinson III. I'm a writer, a poet. I have been living in Atlanta for the past 5 years, and it's been my pleasure to be here with you this evening. I'm so glad I could do this. I hope that I can do it again with you guys, and I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you'd like to find me on social media, I am at Ben the Outspoken, and my email address is writer.benrobinson@gmail.com. So I don't know if anybody's here, so I don't know if there's any questions, but this has been my talk, and I really hope y'all enjoy it.
Hey, creative. We're looking for you to join our emerging writers market for filmmakers and as well as artists. Gain exclusive access to media, influencers, readers and movie lovers, host live conversations and film screenings, and promote your books and projects with us today. Don't hesitate to get started. Visit ourlitlive.com today.